Hello, welcome in. We are getting ready for our round 4 here. Winthrop University, the #1 seed, facing off against BlackRock Esports. Both teams undefeated, and I'm joined in with Hulk Battery Dimitri. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I actually just got to watch the Winthrop game before this, and it was kind of a stomp. So it was 31-12. It's like 7-0 at 5 minutes. I'm really excited to see what Winthrop can do there. The team that I think rightfully so, all of us are expecting to go 5-0, and they are not slowing down whatsoever.
Not one bit, but they do have to face off against some familiar faces in collegiate with BlackRock Esports. And
hmm
so that's what will make this one very exciting as we do see the bans here. Zeta, Seraphine, and Rengar have been banned away by against BlackRock, while double ADC slash, I guess, support ban with the Ash ban as well and the Akali. But the biggest surprise to me is taking away RobbyBob's Azir here and then having the Azir Corki meta in the mid lane.
Yeah, I was just talking about this in the last round just because we did see Corky, but Corky just has so many really strong items right now that he can abuse. And
Yup.
I was interested to see a little bit more Corky because I want to see what the package timing kind of does for the rest of the map now that we have Void Grubs, right?
Oh yeah, same here. And I will say I have not seen enough priority around these Void Grubs, Dimitri. The teams that always get 6
They're
Void Grubs.
fake. I hate them.
You're wrong. You're just wrong, Dimitri. Because you get 6, you win game. Get the grubs, get the dubs.
It's so fake, but like if you never hit turrets, you're never using it.
Okay,
It's
you know
so
what? That is
fake.
fake. That is true. That is very true. But then again, then it's simple, Dimitri. Hit the turrets. GG easy, right?
True.
True.
True. I feel like I don't need the void grubs then to just hit the turrets. We've got the rest of we can talk about void grubs when we get closer to the game being started. But
Yeah.
we already have some pretty interesting stuff here, right? Like we have the
Yeah.
Vi coming out for Trixter. We have Xin Zhao, which made it to red side again. This is something that I don't think Trixter is prioritizing too much.
No.
We just saw this last game where they gave up the Xin Zhao, and this has been a champion that has been terrorizing pro play.
Yeah, the bigger one to me is just not seeing all the teams have the priority around that Nocturne, right? I feel like Nocturne has been something that a lot of people have seen as kind of the terror once you get that experimental hex plate, just how many ults you can get in a fight. But I kind of like what has been built here by Winthrop. The Vi, I think, does work really well. You have an immobile carry there in Varus on the other side. Even if you have a Misfortune that is also immobile, it is just nice to have that pure lockdown whenever you see the Varus or even the Corki. You're like, all right, Corki, he doesn't have the package, let's get him.
hmm There's a lot of great range, I think, coming out from BlackRock here. So I'm interested to see how much of a front line they're going to be able to build out from their tank and support position. Rakan is not known for his innate beefiness, so
Ooh.
we'll be looking for a top lane coming out from Decoy. Interested to see, especially with not a lot of focus in terms of top lane bans. And when you think of top lane meta right now, there's Jax, there's a
Yep.
lot of Cassante being
Yep.
played by some of our top laners, and even a little bit of Akali. So I'm interested to see what they're going to be kind of reaching for.
I've been seeing a lot of Gwens as well, starting to crop up a little bit more. People kind of realizing, oh yeah, that's right, Gwen's pretty powerful, especially into certain matchups here. But at the moment, just gonna be the Leona, kind of that counter towards Rakan. More of a skill matchup is how I like to see it. But I like that it is still something that can try to pick off when the Varus is immobile and the Corki can't really escape as easily. These tools to engage alongside the Vi and Azir. The only thing is now you're leaving this Misfortune out to dry whenever you have everyone diving in, and if you get that Cassante, kind of the same thing. It's just like, all right, Misfortune, you do your thing, you survive. The rest of us are gonna dive.
There's a lot of great lockdown, I think, from the side of Winthrop. You have Cassante, the Leona, the Vi. I think these three champions are really going to be able to set up very nicely for the Misfortune and Azir.
Yeah.
Whereas for BlackRock, I feel like they're going to be playing on two different fronts. You're going to have Xin
Ooh.
Zhao and Rakan
Ooh.
going in, engaging, maybe kind of locking down a few members, but really just wanting to stall the fight so that the Varus and the Corky poke can really set it up. And we got the Poppy
I love
R5 here for a decoy.
I love it. This is a Topopotamus special, right? Just giving this top laner saying, all right, you're playing Poppy. There's a lot of dashes on the other side. You're playing Poppy. Easy peasy. And also, I like the Poppy too, because what does Misfortune do when she ults, Dimitri?
She has to stand still. This
And
is true.
yeah, and what does Poppy do to people who have to stand still?
She sends them home. She sends them
hands
home, boys.
Exactly. Alrighty. I'm excited about this draft. I'm excited about this game. Both teams undefeated so far in our OQs1 here for spring 2024. Let's find out how they're going to do on the Rift. So only reason. All right, let's get rid of the timeline as well. And then once you are both ready. Are you both ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yep.
I'll do a 3, 2, 1 play, and then I'll do a 3, 2, 1 go. All right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go. 3, 2, 1, play. And then 3, 2, 1. Hello! We're back. We're into the game. Ready to see how Winthrop will take on BlackRock Esports. Both teams undefeated. On the Rift they go. Dimitri, we were kind of talking about how we like some of these compositions, like some of the drafts. I mean, I'm always going to look at the Poppy Top. I love the Poppy Top, especially into so many dashes here. It's pretty much just a perfect counter into 4 of the 5 champions that Winthrop have.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a stylistic counter as to what they want to do. The important thing that I want to watch for is not only how our backlines are going to be positioning, but where Kitzuo is really going to live as a Xin Zhao, because there are a lot of options as to where you can go, but it feels more so that this champion is going to be kind of keeping the people that are diving more at bay, so knocking up Vi, trying to stop a Leona from really having a lot of effectiveness. I don't think in terms of backlines we're going to see too much of them interacting. This game feels more so front lines clashing, and whoever has the most amount of damage is going to win out.
True. As just so everyone knows, Wakao will be referring to as Trixter, just so nobody's confused when you hear that. Just to make it a little bit easier for everybody, especially since, you know, some of the players like to play with not the names that they want to go by professionally, hinting at to some other games that I've already casted in the past that I was telling Dimitri about.
Okay, also, Magical, we have to remember this is one-time speed, okay? Just making sure you remember this is one-time speed.
I thought we were watching out a half speed.
Not yet.
No, that explains so much. I was about to ask I was to speed it up because I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Everything's so slow.
You're like, the game is just happening. Their last hitting so slow. It's definitely not just the quirky animation having the worst timing in the world.
It's still better than the old Soraka animation. If you remember that,
true,
the full
that
wind
is true.
up with the banana.
I miss Old Starfall. I miss Old Starfall though. So
that was also busted because it hit whatever targets were nearby and then shredded their magic resist for whatever reason.
Yes, that was the most fun. That was the most fun for everything. Just real quick so we can touch on the game. Both of our junglers, both of them are pathing towards bot. This has been the most exciting thing to really happen for the map changes is just our junglers really want to try to protect for bot lane priority. Yeah. And already we're seeing Trixter kind of mix that up a little bit, starting to move over and get some vision as to where Kitzuo could be.
Maybe even looking for RobbyBob here in the mid lane. As Trixter has spotted out, Kitzuo will be right behind. Not going to use the Volt Breaker with the flash there to get RobbyBob. Instead, just going to use that for that mobility, get right back to farming.
And already they both, everybody knows junglers are on bot side of the map. Xin Zhao's even trying to invade. They have priority from their bottom lane. So you see the Varus and this Rakan start to move on forward. Very difficult. I think it was a tricky kind of dive to go for. And wait a minute.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage on the Trixter there. Kitzuo. He'll take full control of this, but look at the bot lane. Mobility so low, flashing over. First blood in the 2v2 for Mobility as Pockus going to be the next focus. They got the stun and no way out even with the flash. The heal from the Quill will be enough, but the flash in from Kitzuo, who's now rotated around with an audacious charge but got stunned up by Chookies. So Mobility might be able to get out, but it's the flash forward to pick up the kill. Then the flash in from Trixter as it's everyone dying for whatever reason.
Everybody wants a little bit of the action there. They said, okay, your bot lane's moving up. Well, guess what? We can collapse on them. We know that we deal more damage. It's a misfortune versus Leona. I'm going to favor these two in the trades, especially in shorter trades. Every single time, and we got to see it right there. So look at the difference in backs. InoriB taking the recall, goes back, and he gets a call. Where on the opposite side, Mobility is getting lethality, which I know you had a couple of gripes with the name changes, but this is just really broken on this season. It's no longer scaling per level. You don't get, a portion of that armor crush. It is a 1-to-1. So you are just getting straight through all of the early game armor that a lot of these champions lack.
It's pretty much just flat MR like it was. Armor pen. There we go. I could speak. It was just flat.
There we go.
Armor pen like how it used to be which is the only gripe I have about it. Lethality is still a awesome name. I'm just gonna say that.
The name is sick.
It's very sick. It's just the exact same as it used to be. So the whole change is just moot at this point. That's my only gripe. I'm just gonna go on the record and say that.
I know.
It's like ability haste. It's literally just
Twitter.com / Well, no. Okay, that's different. That's definitely
it's
different.
But it's still cooldown reduction if you think about it.
Yes, that is true. I mean, they're just like, we have cooldown reduction at home, and then it's ability haste. The name is basically the same thing. Like, ability haste is like this. You could read it the same. I'm more forgiving on that one than lethality.
True. But it's just CDR. It's just it was the go-to, right?
It was iconic.
Like, I get flat armor pen, why you want to change the acronym for that one if you think about it for a second. But CDR was classic.
Nope, I'm not thinking about it.
You already did.
I'm not thinking about flat armor penetration. Nope.
It's in your mind now. I've gotten it in your mind, Dimitri.
Alex, we need to get into this game. We've got there were some plays going on, and look, we already have Xin Zhao now starting these void grubs like you wanted here. I wonder if we're gonna see Trixter move into that side of the jungle. You see that there's some ping, so maybe being a little bit more conscious of the fact that, hey, they probably have some vision. They know that they're going to enter from here, or telling Sword, I'm going to enter through top side. And we might even have some scuffles here. Decoy does have the ability to move before Denathor, but it's just trying to keep this Cassante in lane.
So one of the crazy things, I did a practice cast of the LCK CL, where there was grubs started up, and it was Elisa and Kanya coming in and stealing all 3 of them, while 3 members of the enemy team were all hitting on them. And it was just like the most tragic thing to witness. Like right there, just stealing 1, not that bad. It's like, okay, it's a 2 for 1. It's not that bad. But this could be a little bit worse because you already have that flank in there from Trixter to deny Pockus from getting out, but Pockus still gets out with the battle dance.
That was really well played. I mean, that was an excellent play coming out from them. I mean, just immediately uses 1/2 of the E and then is able to immediately go with the battle dance. We're seeing some trading across the board, but yeah, like Pockus played that really well and prevented what could have been a pretty disastrous play in the mid lane for the side of BlackRock.
But I also liked right there, InoriB. There's a good sidestep of the Zenith blade where, Chookies has played a lot of Leona with just how he angled that Zenith blade in the first place to make sure that you could land it on InoriB, but InoriB was smart to it. He's like, okay, I know where you want to put it. So it's the outplays, right? Now we can look at Denathor, who's gone all out onto Decoy in the top lane. Has a lot of damage against this Poppy, but misses the pullback. Still dashing, steadfast presence to give a little bit of distance. The flash in, Decoy getting back towards the turret, again, getting out of there.
Ooh, that was extra dicey. I was wondering, does Decoy have enough mana? I think after he uses the steadfast presence, it doesn't seem like it's likely for him to go for it. They did get a lot of chip damage onto Inori, but they're just immediately turning.
Yeah, going for a lot. They're trying to engage, but look at RobbyBob already moving down well before Sword, who's only at 25% health. He's not going to be really helpful here. So they get the knock upon a Chookies with no escape out of there. Kitzuo stabs him to death.
Okay, gets the kill there. I like the ability for Winthrop to turn there, but it does seem like they're lacking a little bit of damage. And the big thing for me here is Trixter doesn't have ultimate. If they are able to grab that, that's at least a kill more of those summoners away from InoriB and Pockus. So the fact of the matter is we see Winthrop kind of fall short a little bit there, and a really good job from RobbyBob, who has been one of our top mid laners in collegiate. Oh my God, Pockus, let's go. Good vision.
I know, Trixter, I thought he had that too. And like you said, Pockus just was on point there. Just, nope, you're not getting in here.
Just stopping all the engages. It's really, really good for BlackRock. And something that we haven't really talked about is their ability to deny a lot of the engagements available. I know we talked about it with Poppy, but really Rakan, Xin Zhao, these are things that we kind of touched upon very lightly during the draft. We're starting to see that just from the skill here of our players in this game. Pockus doing a fantastic job of Rakan, but he needs to be able to keep that up, and I don't know how reliable that's going to be, especially because Trixter is eventually going to hit level 6, and at that point, you're not going to be able to stop him.
Looking at these items getting built so far, what everyone is bringing to the table. We got the double tunnelers from our jungler. I love the name of that item, by the way. Can I just say that?
Tunneler. It is so good.
It's so good.
It's so funny. I love Tunneler.
It's a perfect name for an item when you think about it, too. And then you look at it, and it's a drill. It's like,
it's just a drill. It's so, I love this thing because it's so, it just feels like the most, what is the tier below legendary in items? Because I know we don't have mythics anymore, but then there's legendaries. Either way, this
I know what
as
you're
like
talking
I don't want to say, because it's not a component, but whatever this thing is, I think it's perfect because it doesn't look cool enough to be like a mythic or like a legendary, but it also shouldn't be like as lowly as a component. It's just a drill. You're just hanging out with a drill.
And it's a drill called Tunneler. And then if you think about it, you're tunneling in the game. Just whoever came up with that deserves a
Tunneler
raise.
online.
You deserve
Tunneler's
a raise. Anyways,
online.
sword. Nice Rima shuffle out of there, and then punting back Kitzuo underneath the turret, then flashing for it. Crescent strike, dodging away from the damage that could have come in. Kitzuo, how'd you do it? And now we got Trixter on the other side. Wind becomes lightning. Was able to get a little bit of vision. That is the blast cone. The follow-up with the cease and desist. Kitzuo, it's the blast cone, but right onto Chookies and mobility.
All right, it's a kill going over to mobility, but I don't know if we should have used our Vi ultimate there. I mean, the dragon is still up. You have Grubs as well being an objective. It seems like without their jungler there, Winthrop are going to take their prize of not only getting the kill, but also grabbing the dragon, but able to get the flash and the teleport out from mid. It's pretty important. Pockus just barely able to get out of that.
He keeps dodging all of this. I don't know how he keeps doing it. Now they're going to turn this around onto Chookies. All the while, RobbyBob using the package, getting the damage onto mobility. It's 2 dead on the side of Winthrop. Even if they lost out on the dragon, they win the fight.
I just want to remind everybody that this is Winthrop, the first seed coming in, the one that everybody from the committee was expecting to be 5-0, getting pushed a little bit here in the early game. Now, I want to give them a little bit of leeway. The fact of the matter is, their early games, all of last year and now coming into this year, have not always been perfect, and I think that's not something that we should expect from teams here in Tier 3, but I think it's very surprising for a team like BlackRock, who has had very, very good pieces from separate teams. Everybody knows Kitzuo and RobbyBob, but InoriB coming in from last year was really, really high up. I think he had a lot of really good games last year in the qualifiers. And Decoy, someone who right now is just being able to manage Denathor, which a lot of our carry top laners can't do. And I think that's a really important thing to say, especially for someone like Decoy.
And even looking at Pockus, I call him Pockus just because I like to say, using magic terms with that, because then Hocus Pocus. It's a lot more fun. But that's another player that has been around the scene for quite some time and has always been a valuable asset to a lot of teams. And we're seeing that here, how many times he's dodged away from some of these engages that honestly should have landed. On more supports, those would have actually been kills, but he has survived nearly all of them.
But he's just the GOAT. That's it. That's just the excuse we're going to use. He's doing really well up here. In terms of action across the map, we do have those void grubs that are just now spawning or have been spawned, and we're seeing right now Trixter actually take them. Now, if Trixter gets all 3 of these, they will have 4, which I think is really, really important. And I like this call from mobility, recognizing my support's not here. I don't know where enemy Zinzao is. I know that he's not on void grubs, so the likelihood that he's bottom lane is slightly higher. I mean, I don't have a lot of vision down here, so just immediately uses the ultimate to clear that, waits for Chookies to get back from being topside, and now we have a situation where if Winthrop ever get into a position where they're outside of turrets, or even more importantly, grab that Rift Herald, they can start to take down turrets very, very fast. I
like to explain to people, the 4 and 5, if you get those for your team, it'll spawn 1 of the mites every time you attack a turret per champion that attacks it. If you get 6, that's when it spawns 2 per, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 just makes it so you can just melt turrets. But 1 is very, very degenerate, and it's very not fun to play. Trying to go for a lane gank.
Oh, good flash.
Good use of the flash there. So they trade Chookies' ultimate for the flash of InoriB. I think something that they'll be very happy with coming into later fights. 2.5 minutes before this dragon means that it'll be very difficult for BlackRock to actually walk up with their AD carry.
Also, Dimitri, are you happy that Divine Tsundere is no longer in the game, so I don't have to say that? Instead, it's Sundered Sky, so I don't have the cool thing I can say with that anymore?
I think it's fine. I don't really mind, just because they basically just replaced the item.
Well, it's more just me calling it Divine Tsundere instead of Divine Sunderer.
I didn't care. I'll keep it a stack. You could have called it that a million times. I thought it was funny. I enjoyed it. I didn't care in like a negative. I didn't care bracket positive. Like I thought it was a funny thing. I thought it was like everyone knew what we were talking about. Everyone in chat did the same thing. So it was a fun bit of like community interaction.
Sundered Sky, Tsundere Sky doesn't work as well. It's not as good.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I agree with you. I think we should just. I think we should respect the Sundered Sky name.
It just makes me sad. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. Alex, you know, I haven't got to talk to you too much about this patch. How are you liking 14-1?
More people need to play Window Jungle
time before the Rift Herald started.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, we gotta wait for this one because we got the fight. Pockus started off. A nice flash in from Decoy. Knockups as well. Mobility heals to get a little bit of distance. Will actually escape. Same with Trixter. Nobody falls.
Nobody falls, and there's still some really important ultimates here for Winthrop, so they're going to lose access to the Rift Herald in this moment, but look at what they gain at the same time. They're going to then be able to position over mid and make sure that they have that ready to go when Dragon spawns. Sword is able to get some really good chip damage down onto this bottom side, and there's a couple of summoner spells that were used there in a really good ultimate, so I really don't want to see BlackRock contest for this Dragon. Focus on your lanes, make sure that you're getting gold, so you can set up for this Rift Herald in a few minutes afterwards.
Ooh, and then
Hello?
the pick underneath the turret. RobbyBob flashed, but the cease and desist locks him in place.
Wait, does Vi not take an extra turret shot there?
What?
Oh my god, that's a... if I was on BlackRock, I'd be investigating this turret, because if Trixter goes down there, that is a massive win for them. It delays the Dragon for the timer of Trixter's respawn. And the entire time, yet again,
Wow,
first turret now going over to Winthrop. They're going to summon the Azir turret as well.
I had stopped there to let you say that because I figured the turret was going to take Trixter down.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I would be salty over that one too if I'm RobbyBob.
I would be like, hello? I don't even get one kill? That's so unfortunate. 3 people dive him. They do no longer have the Leona ult, so, you know, InoriB not having that flash is going to mean a little less. And they used the cease and desist onto Corki. So I'm a little interested to see what Winthrop's answer is going to be. I think if you are BlackRock, you are now saying, we can go for this Dragon. We still have ultimates available. Decoy can TP soon as well. I think they're also going to be losing this top turret. So gold should be the priority of Winthrop in this situation.
I agree. And we're even seeing exactly as it plays out, how you said there, Dimitri. Already on the Dragon, going to be the first one of the game for BlackRock. Well, gold is the priority. Keeping in lanes, sending Sword into the bot lane so he can get himself that gold, kind of maintain what we saw, how he and RobbyBob are about dead even if they got the kill onto RobbyBob. But now they're threatening. Looking for a potential dive here on Sword. Nice side step from the wind becomes lightning, and then taking a soldier out of there.
So they're going to summon the Rift Herald. The Drift Herald has been used. They get 1, and a lot of Void Mites are going to come out from this.
Oh, 2. How good are you on your drifting?
What I am... I've only done it once, and it seems like I'm fine.
Okay, good, good.
But I also give a lot of people a lot of grace with this because it's bugged. So
yeah,
anything that's bugged, I immediately just go, I'm not gonna bother.
Callthrow had an unfortunate incident yesterday where he grabbed the Rift Herald, went down bot lane. It was blue side, clicked it as it was pointed up towards the tier 2, and then it went back towards his base.
I think I had a moment the other day where we were like, hey, can you grab the Rift Herald? I think it was in a game that I was casting yesterday. I think it was an Old Miss game, and it like went in the wrong direction, and I was like, okay, look, I'm not bothering with this because it's bugged. And like I just said, if it's bugged, I usually don't want to flame them because it's just
no,
like,
that's even more reason to flame them, Dimitri, because then it's funnier.
Flame the balance team. Flame the balance team. They need to fix this. Fix the Rift Herald so everybody can use it. Make it accessible for all. It's like ramps.
Yeah, I was about to, I was
like ramps on public
hey, we're on the same wavelength. I was literally thinking, I was about to say, it's like ramps. Okay, cool. Ramps OP.
Yeah.
All right.
So 3.5 minutes before the Dragon, Rift Herald has already been used here. And I don't know how you feel about this Baron, but I think generally, you know, when we're looking at this Baron, it is a lot harder to take. It's just overall a lot tankier, and there are a lot of teams that are not willing to immediately spike it. So for Winthrop, and in a game that is pretty even for the most part, I think we're going to be seeing this become more of an important objective as we get closer to it, because both of these teams deal a ton of damage to this objective. However, I would be a little bit worried if you're the one starting it, because either team starts this, I think it's very easy for the opponent to just walk in. They have tons of options. BlackRock, they have their poke variant with this Corki, and for Winthrop, they have such immediate engage to turn around and find options. We're not even anywhere close to a Dragon Soul.
No. Though I will say there are elements on each team that actually can melt through these Barons pretty quickly. Azir, always been great at Baron taking, even with the tankier version right now. And then the on-hit Varus that we're seeing from InoriB, both of them actually can take this fairly quickly compared to how, like you said, it is much tankier and it is a lot harder in most regards. And so I think that's why you have to set up plays like this. Get a pick on a decoy, but a nice Keeper's Verdict hits the important members out of the equation. So Trixter kind of realizing they can't go for that while the dive is in the mid lane. Was able to get the root, but the Solar Flare onto Kitzuo. flashing out of there to survive with the TP from Denathor and Sword. All on the hunt, the chase,
Denathor.
the dash in, waiting for the all-out to pull in Trixter and Kitzuo. They've got the kill for one, but where is he? There is Trixter on the other side, not wanting to engage just yet. Instead, realizing they already got the play, they've got the kill, and they can take this turret with the flash on a decoy.
Ooh, Denathor using the flash there. I think he's gonna regret that one. He's like, okay, well, guys, I don't have flash. I thought I had Q3. Give it a stack. Not able to get that. They also don't get any real damage onto this mid lane turret. So all in all, I say that that's a pretty even trade. They got the teleport out from decoy, but Denathor used all of his summoner spells. We see Sword no longer have that teleport either. RobbyBob was able to push in a wave on the bottom side. So I think equalizing some of that gold. The gold actually hasn't moved in terms of the needle. BlackRock still have a small advantage there, but oh my god, wait. RobbyBob, no!
The flash in! Sword nearly dies, but he'll survive with narrowly any health. Double digits there.
20 HP at the very end. Cease and desist. They find this on the Pockus. They get the flash out from Rakan.
But there's
see if they can
decoy.
find this pick on a Trixter.
Got a lot of damage. The flash out from Trixter.
Okay.
Re-engage on the Chookies. But they don't really have the damage here. Not when you have Poppy and Rakan so low. They needed InoriB to be there if they actually wanted to slay any of the members of Winthrop.
Oh my god. That's actually so funny to see. Just a lot of flashes being blown. No one wants to go down. No one wants to be the one that gets caught. If that is Zero ultimate doesn't land, like you saw, it just barely was able to scoop up RobbyBob. If that doesn't happen, RobbyBob is able to re-engage and immediately find that kill. But double summoners out from our mid laners here, and it turns into a winning trade for Sword. They are getting more and more off of the side lanes at this moment on the side of Winthrop. So need to be really careful. Dragon is spawning, and it is a Hex Tech Drake. So you do not want to be giving over. Not even just saying Hex Tech Drake is OP, but they have so many relevant stats for the champions that they're playing. Attack speed, it's already going to be a little bit suspect. They're getting 3 stats for champions that really love them.
The only saving grace, it is the first one. It's not like you're getting the soul yet. You're not even in soul point potential. So I guess that's really the only thing you're like, okay, it's not great. It's not the best situation, but we got the turret top lane. We got some gold back for ourselves, and maybe at the next dragon we can actually put up a fight so we can get those relevant stats ourselves.
All right. Also getting some really good damage off in the mid lane. You saw that InoriB actually couldn't do all that much to stop them. We'll see if Trixter gets stopped here.
Let's go Trixter.
Doesn't have flash.
Jumps over, dashing away, going the wrong way. That Hex Gate's not your friend right there.
A lot of time.
And 5 members went to deal with him just to get the kill. That is a lot of time that was spent trying to kill him, but it's not like there was anything that was gained by Winthrop in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, Trixter just wasting a lot of BlackRock's time. They weren't able to push out mid. None of them are on the side lanes to be able to push, so it bought mobility time to recall, so they're going to actually get back into lane before this hits the turret. Sword as well does the same thing. You already see, because of these 2 turrets now missing in bottom lane as well, Decoy's going to have a long time before he's hitting any structures. And so, hey, it's a little bit of gold. It's gold back in their back pocket. I think BlackRock are not necessarily going to complain about getting 300 gold for some of their champions, but don't think there was all that much. Again, more importantly here, neither team really moving towards the top side of the map, just controlling vision for the time being. And I think we're really going to start to see them index on these dragons. 3.5 minutes. There's a lot of summoner spells that are just now coming up.
And I don't know about you, Dimitri, and like how you feel about the Hex Tech Rift, but it reminds me a lot of old days of League of Legends. Not because of the mobility, but the fact that you can get on the map so quickly, which oftentimes means more vision control, which then leads into teams less likely to look for fights. And it really does harken back to the old days back when people would cheer for the ward kills, you know?
Okay, well, the ward kills was because it was boring and nothing was happening on the game.
And you're saying this is...
But I see... Yeah, I would say, you know, that there is definitely... I think the Hex Tech gates solve a similar problem that we saw for why they actually changed the death timers this season. The fact of the matter is that people want to play the game, regardless of outside of pro play, and I think this is really important part that a lot of the League community kind of forgets is that this is a video game made for a lot of different people. I know. And death timers just mean that there's more stuff to play around. The same thing with the void grubs, right? Like there's more objectives to play around. There are more things that we have to fight over that aren't just, hey, we have jungle camps and your champion is on my screen. I want to kill your champion so that I can get more gold and become stronger.
I mean, that's how
I think that adding objectives like this, exactly. So adding a Hextech Rift and these teleporters lets us get faster back out onto the map. You get to deploy faster. You get to be faster on the play to getting towards our dragon, towards these barons.
True.
And I think it's really cool. Also allows for some cool escapes that we've seen in pro play.
That is true. That is true. But that's for the casual player. When we get here into the competitive, it is different, as you said. But then again, this game is not just meant for pros. It's meant for everybody. Even if...
Well, the pros just use it to get back out on the map, and at that point, like, they get to establish vision, they get back into their matchups
for pro
faster.
play, it's usually actually it slows the game
Exactly.
down, strangely enough, because it gets them back on the map faster, which is weird. It's like why they changed Rek'Sai ult, right? Because you got out into the map too soon.
Revert that,
but
please.
Look at this.
Okay.
They noticed the pick, and look at that bullet time. It was interrupted, but still, Kitzuo will fall. TP from RobbyBob, too late to help out the jungler, but they do get a little bit of poke established here, as there's going to be only each side now staring each other down with both junglers gone.
Okay, Decoy can teleport here. Denathor can take his recall as well and do the same thing. Don't know if we're going to see too much posturing after that, but that was basically how every fight is going to go. We're going to see our front lines clashing with each other. Varus is going to try to deal some damage. Now, this is the on-hit Varus build, so really focus on trying to deal damage to a lot of the different members. I think the more interesting mechanical part of that fight that we got to see is that Kitzuo was locked down for so long that we didn't see the Crescent card until the very end. Typically, I think when we see this ultimate, people want to use it when you're very high HP because you don't want to come out of the ultimate and then immediately die. And we saw right there that Kitzuo got very, very close to getting away and almost out of this fight, dealing a lot of damage and also just being able to threaten some of that backline. We need to see some of our damage carries. Sword has, I think, a really big role to play in this game, and I don't think that's something we say very often for Winthrop.
No, I feel like that's just because there's so many other elements of Winthrop that we've always focused on. Denathor, usually on a lot of carries, has been someone that's gotten a lot of buzz around them. Even looking at Trixter, Mobility stepping up. But here, Sword, someone who, think about it, he was a mid laner originally, swapped into the supportive role for a bit, and now back in the mid lane, playing something like Azir that has been such a critical factor for many teams here in the open qualifiers. Even RobbyBob, 2 of their victories that they've gotten here were off the back of RobbyBob's play on Azir, purely winning the games from some amazing ultimates. And now Sword has pretty much the same kind of role here, while they are now on this Baron because they saw that Kitzuo was bot lane trying to get the dragon. They get the TP out, so they actually are getting a little bit of damage. Denathor punted away. He TP'd in just to get punted away. That's going to be big. Package splitting up. Chookies cannot escape this one. The Zenith Blade, the ult, the flash does get a lot of distance, but the piercing arrow strikes the hearts.
Oh, wait. Denathor's going to try and find the solo kill onto Kitzuo. Has Q3, lands it.
No, Decoy's there.
Here as well. That was, I mean, that was an insanely good Poppy ultimate coming out from Decoy, splitting up the fight. And I wanted to talk about how our 2 mid laners here, RobbyBob doesn't quite have level 16, but he did have the package. While Sword, he headed level 16, and they might be able to try to go for a re-engage. Trixter's going to go over the wall. But they don't have eyes on Pockus.
They knew it. They saw Sword. He was unwitnessed, unnoticed, and easily takes down Winthrop for a double kill out of RobbyBob.
That's going to be Baron here for them now, and they deal a ton of damage to this, so no worries. Winthrop, I think the smartest play for them, like we saw in the play before this, Trixter, or Kitzuo had gone mid, gotten the mid-tier 1. Same thing now here for Winthrop. They're going to ignore the Baron, go mid lane, take that turret, now move into the Dragon. So now they're going to be on Soul Point. The next 2.5 minutes are going to be so important for BlackRock to be able to set up. It should be able to give them enough time, push out all of these waves, make sure that they're answering. They'll be able to establish vision first, take it away from Winthrop to prevent Soul. Otherwise, I mean, Winthrop just have a way back into this game. The Baron is temporary. This Soul is going to be there for the rest of the game. It's going to be something that's going to linger in the back of their minds.
But God, just Pockus on that. Absolutely insane. Just nobody thought to check that brush, and it's like, oh, I get the freest engage ever. They're walking right past me, gets that pick onto Sword, sets up this Baron, and they gives a little bit of time, but like you said, it is only temporary. You have to gain a lot here if you're BlackRock Esports. Taking down this turret is going to be a start, but you really need to get these inhibitor turrets to fall if you want this play to work. The chains on to Chookies is going to be a good start. They re-engage. Denathor tried to have a dash onto Kitzuo, and he actually takes up the kill. The bolt time did not get an NoriB despite getting a lot of damage. That's going to be a TP in from Sword. Waiting for the Keeper's verdict. Knocks away two. Kitzuo is alive. Sword into the back line. Picks up the kill onto the jungler, but trades his own.
Oh my god. I mean, I'm going to be real. Sword, I think not finding the exact angle that he wanted there. Uses it on to find the Zins out, but they already traded two. Pockus with this engage.
Look at the damage on Denathor. Goes all out, but he didn't want to be all out in this one. Having to double dash away as Trixter going to be the next target. RobbyBob on the hunt. Getting him out of there. Turrets to fall. The play is working out perfectly for BlackRock Esports.
And BlackRock are proving to be huge upsets here in this tournament. They are 6th seed coming into this, and they are already finding a potential win over Winthrop. I mean, you take a look at a lot of where they played the 27th seed. They're going up against the 13th, and now they're outplaying potentially the hardest matchup they're going to have all Swiss long. And I think a bigger upset here for Winthrop is that 5-0 might get snapped. They still have a lot of answers here, but the gold is slipping away. Denathor moving into 3 here.
Wanted to stop the recall, stop the backs, but now his own back is going to be forced there from an unstoppable collegiate powerhouse in RobbyBob.
All right, what was the play there? I'm trying to rationalize this from the side of Winthrop. They're trying to force the recalls away, prevent them from getting all that much, but I mean, maybe they stall out the Baron just a little bit longer. That inhibitor topside is going to be a massive thorn, especially when we're talking about Dragon spawning in 2.5 minutes. Mid lane as well. They still have a few more minutes before that is going to be spawning, but they're losing access to all of these ways. Baron is still available here, and that mid turret is literally one auto attack away. They're not going to be able to do much here.
NoriB getting shut down.
Oh my god.
That's actually a big pick on the other side there for Winthrop. They'll gain him a little bit as Kitzuo dove in, but 4 members strong for Winthrop. Getting the solar flare from Chookies to land. Decoys on the other side, and Pockus with the flank once more. Getting the focus from the team. Dominating Corky TP as Chookies could be the next target. That turret is so low, but it's going to be TP from Denathor with Decoy being the decoy as they dash in to try to get him, but not getting the damage necessary. Spawning up the turret. Sword keeping a little bit of distance to pull back in. RobbyBob's out of there, but the pull in with the Empress Divide will take out the support. Sword is low. So many low health bars on both sides. Re-engage onto Kitzuo, looking for the snap back with Denathor all out onto RobbyBob, and he's got to be careful. The missiles, they can shoot. Denathor! No! He doesn't, gets down, goes back in, pulls in Kitzuo. Winthrop deny BlackRock Esports that upset, chasing down Decoy for Mobility's double kill.
Oh my god, okay, so Decoy, he smurfed all of that fight, but it just didn't matter. Robbie playing a little too conservatively with his flash. He just needed to use it to dodge the Leona stun, get out of vision, get out of range of this Cassante, and that is a 1 fight for them. Coming down to the margins there, as Winthrop, they fight for their 1st seed. They fight to keep their undefeated streak here in the qualifiers alive. Really good stuff from both teams, and just showing how close our top 6 is, just in general. They have been putting on a clinic. Winthrop have looked unstoppable up to this point. And BlackRock, I think, not necessarily disrespected as they are in the top 6 inside the top 8 here. And showing off a lot of that with some pieces that definitely got some success last year.
Got success in open qualifiers, in NACL, in collegiate. A lot of these players have been around the tier 2, tier 3 for quite some time. I definitely are showing up here, right? Looking great. And yeah. Honestly, that last fight, you talked about Decoy smurfing a lot of the fights. I mean, his keeper's verdicts have been...
He pressed W, man. He just pressed W the whole time,
Yeah,
man.
but it's not just the W's, dude.
I'm watching Leona run into a wall. It's so funny.
But I also like his keeper's verdicts. Hitting the right targets, always getting them out of the fights, making it a lot easier for BlackRock, who will now deny the solo going over to Winthrop, as the Baron still has a little less than 40 seconds until it spawns.
Yeah, I don't know what Winthrop were doing in that situation. My best guess is actually just trying to ghost here for Sword, making sure that they're shadowing him, making sure that there's not just going to be a collapse. And if there is multiple members, they're probably taking recalls, seeing so many people around the Baron. But it allowed for BlackRock now to grab this dragon. So again, delaying that soul by another 5 minutes. And this entire time, it's only now that Winthrop are walking in to establish vision, put down wards. They know that Decoy can just TP in whenever they want to. And for the time being, now it's just going to be able to BlackRock walk into the Fog of War, walk S5, and see what you can get. RobbyBob does have the package, and now they're starting this. The Vision has seen it. We're going to get that 5v5, and this could very well determine our 5-0 team.
That Baron's going quickly, too. They're not going to get into the pit in time. Baron's secured by Winthrop. The engage onto Chookies. The punt away onto the tank. Chookies going to be the target, taking out the support. But if 4 members could survive for Winthrop, that's huge, denying the Baron the push potential for BlackRock, and that is why Pockus is on the hunt. Cannot get in, but does dash in with the grand entrance onto Sword as he tried to Shurima Shuffle, but could not take the soldiers out.
All right, not bad. Look at the members who do have this Baron. Cassante, Vi, and this Misfortune. How meaningful is that going to be? We'll have to watch. This next wave could be really dangerous. They still have Misfortune, so they can at least survive for one more wave, but it's all with Trixter and Denathor standing in front.
There's only one turret, though. One Nexus turret survives, and that is going to do a little damage there as they get the jump on to Mobility. BlackRock, I thought that it was going to turn around, but you find the perfect fight and the upset to continue your undefeated streak.
There it is. It's a 3-0 for them. It's a 4-0 moving on for BlackRock as Winthrop move on to 3-1. I think a lot of unexpected upsets happening today and all throughout our qualifiers.